Welcome to Attunement with Courtney O'Keefe. I am your host, Courtney, and today is our Crown Chakra mini lesson. I'm so excited. This is our last chakra. This is the last month. And we're going to be doing an overview of the Crown Chakra, what imbalance looks and feels like, personal experiences I've had with imbalance in the crown, rituals and activities to help balance your Crown Chakra, what balance looks and feels like, and then we'll close out with some affirmations. So let's dive into it. Your Crown Chakra is the seventh and last in your primary chakra system. It's located at the top or crown of your head. It holds the themes of spiritual connection, oneness, and the divine. It propels us into a higher state of being, of ease, flow, spirit, and unity. It is our source of inner wisdom. It is the channel in which we communicate with the divine. Very magical and mystical. Unlike the other chakras, it is not associated with a sense, so it is just pure light. It is our highest level of consciousness. It shows us that we are part of a greater whole, that we are spiritual beings living a human experience. The element associated with the crown is thought, and the color is either violet or white. So let's get into what imbalance looks and feels like. When your crown chakra is out of balance, it affects your overall well-being. To be disconnected from your higher self causes disconnection from everything. So, overactive symptoms can make your mind spin out of control. You may fixate or obsess over something. You're unable to see the broader perspective. It can manifest as an insatiable need for material things and self-indulgence that disconnects us from the greater good and fuels us with an imagined superiority over others. And an underactive crown chakra makes you feel disconnected as well from your spiritual self, from others, and the world at large. And you may feel like you're drained of color or simply watching yourself go through the motions of life. You may feel a lack of purpose with an underactive crown chakra and feelings that existence has no greater meaning, nothing to believe in when you have an underactive crown chakra. So let's get into some of the mental and emotional symptoms. An imbalanced crown blocks the flow of energy between your physical self and your higher consciousness. It is like the bridge, leading to a life in like lower vibration. So you may experience apathy, loneliness and depression, lack of purpose, disconnection, restlessness or impatience, self-centeredness, obsessive thoughts, which we talked about, lack of inspiration, and narrow-mindedness. Let's get into some of the physical symptoms. Again, I am not a doctor. These are just good things to reflect on. If you are experiencing anything crazy, go see an actual medical professional. Since your crown space governs over the energy dispersion within your whole body, it can manifest that it affects the physical body as an entire whole, which could be like fatigue or insomnia. You can also experience brain fog with an unbalanced crown, headaches or migraines, and as well as hormonal issues, which is interesting because I have experienced that recently. That being said, let's dive into my personal stories. I believe a lot of imbalances in the crown space have to do with our upbringing. At least for me, most of my life I spent with an underactive crown. And a lot of that I think has to do with like my beliefs and programmings about God and the divine growing up in the Catholic Church. There was a lot of fear surrounding God. I notice if you feel uncomfortable when I say the word God, because I did for a very long time. I was uncomfortable with God. And whatever you believe in, the divine, the universe, that those beliefs stem from childhood. And a lot of those beliefs determined where my crown chakra was as I was like moving through life. So I experienced a lot of underactive crown chakra symptoms until I had my greater spiritual awakening. And then I'll talk a little bit about how I had some overactive examples. But overall, I do think a lot of my crown space and my beliefs and programming stemmed from childhood and just having that Catholic religion background. I had so much fear with connecting to the divine. There was a lot of programming around fearing God and like the hammer of God coming down on you. And in my reality now, that could be the farthest thing from the truth. I have no fear towards God or the divine. And it's interesting how that programming is laid in the religious background that I had. I can't speak for other religions because I did not grow up in another religion outside of Catholicism, but I do think that has a lot to do with the underactive examples that I had. So when I did have my spiritual awakening, that's when I experienced some overactive examples, specifically the obsessive thoughts. When you have a spiritual awakening, this is obviously from personal experience, whatever your awakening journey is, I kind of went down all the rabbit holes. And it is so easy to get stuck in those rabbit holes and obsess over certain things, kind of because your whole life is like being blown up and what you believed in, you no longer do. And you become obsessed over learning your truth or what is truth. And I had found myself obsessing over things in the beginning of my spiritual awakening. So that is like the main one with the overactive crown space that I experienced. Another thing I wanted to share is a person I came in contact with who had a very overactive crown chakra. And I want to share a little bit about that just because it's something I think is good to look out for, especially in the age of Aquarius. Spirituality and all things like astrology and woo-woo-ness is becoming very trendy. It's kind of like a new way of life for a lot of people. And there is ego that comes along with that. And there are some people that do not have the right intention when they step into like this spiritual healing place. And it's really good to know and use your own discernment of like what feels good in your body when you're interacting with people around this topic. And people who have an overactive crown space really step into self-centeredness and ego and kind of lose the plot. So as you step into this spiritual space, when you're interacting with people, I'm not going to share too much about this person because it's not even about this person. It is about just the spiritual space in general. If you start to work with healers, if you reach out to people for like tarot or Reiki or other spiritual retreats or guidance or anything involving like the spirituality space, use your discernment. If something doesn't feel right with the person that you are sharing an experience with, because it is an energy exchange, really tune into it. I had just kind of new to the area was like meeting other people who were into the spiritual healing space, and there was no good energy exchange going on. Like I have no problem referring people who come to me as a client to other spiritual people I know in my life, because that's what this is all about. We are all connected. We are all here to help each other. There is no competition. And anyone who is in that mindset of like having blinders on and like we are all competition has like wounded or out of balance chakras when it comes to the spiritual space. So just use your discernment when connecting with other spiritual people. We are all spiritual. Literally, anyone can open their crown space and connect with the divine. So don't ever think that like someone else is better than me because they read tarot or because they read the Akashic records or because they are a sound healer or all the things. If they work in the spiritual space, you specifically can open up your crown space and have direct communication with your higher self and the divine. As healers, specifically me, my intention is to always help you find that within yourself. You don't need to come to me. You don't need to come to me for a reading. You don't need to come to me for an experience or a sound bath. Are they good to have? Absolutely. If you ever feel lost or need to find yourself or help align within you, I go to people to get tarot readings all the time when I feel out of balance, because it is a good thing for me to like come back in and touch the divine when I physically feel cloudy or have like brain fog, especially if I'm ever in that underactive space, which I feel like I have been lately, actually. I haven't been taking my time to do my rituals and activities, which we'll get into, and that can lead to being disconnected from your higher self and the divine. So know that it's okay to book services like that, but also know that you are divine. You are connected with everything. You have access to access the divine. And if that's the one thing you take out of this episode, then so be it, because that is the one message I want to get out today on this Crown Chakra episode, is that you can open your crown space and directly communicate with God, source, the universe, your higher self, your spirit team. It is possible, and you just need to have the tools and honestly the knowledge that you can. Because as long as you believe it, you can achieve it. So let's get into some rituals and activities to help center your crown space. The first one is presence, practicing presence. We spend so much time thinking about the past and the future that we have a hard time connecting to the here and now, when in reality, the here and now is all we have. And romanticizing that, like taking the time to be present off of your device, off of anything that's distracting you. We are in a world full of distractions. So finding yourself and fully allowing yourself to be in the moment and connecting with others and nature around you is key. It allows the distractions to fall away and it allows you to open up your crown much easier. Distractions are like made to block your crown space, I swear. The second one, seeking out silence. This doesn't necessarily have to be meditation. Meditation is different for everyone, but making room for your inner wisdom and your spirit to connect. Once you're able to learn and train your mind to quiet down, that is when the downloads come in. Your crown space is like all about downloads from the divine. I also think it's heavily tied to creativity, because creativity is divine, and seeking silence is super important. So I feel like we're talking a lot about nature. It circles back around. Your crown and your root are very connected, because your root is all about nature as well and grounding. But the third one I have is connecting with nature. So connecting with nature can be like a form of prayer. The divine created nature, and connecting with what the divine created is so important. And just seeing how nature is in you. Like, one thing I love to think about, have you ever seen those like reels where they show pictures of nature and then like your human form and how nature is in you, the shapes inside of a tree and your fingerprint, or like lightning and stretch marks, or like the sky and your eyes? There are just so many different things that are in nature that are also in you, and taking the time to appreciate that and appreciate where you come from. Like, we all come from the divine, and taking time to notice that is super important. These are small things, but they're very powerful. The fourth one, practicing prayer. Prayer used to be a very triggering word for me. Growing up, we would kneel next to our beds and pray every single night. We would do the rosary and talk to God. But it always felt very disconnected to me, just because of like religious programming. It was just like a chore. Prayer does not have to be kneeling next to your bed and talking to God. It can be meditating. It can be walking through the park, walking in the woods. It can be gratitude. It can be chanting, singing, anything that makes you feel connected to source energy. Spending time every single day to find that higher vibration of gratitude and really being thankful for the experiences that you're having is super powerful. So whatever quote unquote prayer means to you, and really tapping into that higher frequency, and also asking for guidance in return. So being grateful and asking for guidance. I love asking my guides for guidance. That is a form of prayer as well. And the fifth one, being of service. Being of service could be complimenting a stranger. When you have a thought pop in your head, someone you saw on the street, you love their outfit, like compliment them. That spreads joy. We are all connected. That is such high vibrational energy that you're sharing with a person in your field, that you can pass that along. It's like little ripples, little spider webs of like increasing the frequency of the world, opening a door for someone, volunteering your time for a cause. I know that's associated with the heart chakra too, but that is just like high vibration, being of service, dropping off food for a friend, anything that opens up your reality to also receive. It's very giving heart chakra. Crown chakra meditation. So listen to the next episode where you can actually do visualizations to help open up your crown space and help clear the crown space. Meditation is so powerful for your crown chakra. Also, open-ended journaling, I put on here as the last one. This is like a form of creativity. I really think creativity and the divine are so connected. The amount of times I have gotten downloads for creative projects that have been so healing, and their purpose is to help raise the vibration of the planet. So open-ended journaling with the divine can literally look like, you could make it a prayer journal, a divine journal, a God journal, whatever you want, but asking a question to the divine, to your higher self, writing down the question, sitting in silence, and then channeled writing your answers. It takes practice, but writing whatever pops into your mind. And as you write, it may be a little forced at first, but you will see when things start to shift. For me, I will write in first person. I notice first, and then when I start to channel, comes out of first person, and it's so beautiful. And then I can read it back and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that was connection there. So it's almost like practicing channeling, because we can all do that. We can all channel. And it's so funny. I was thinking about this the other day, but obviously I meant to share it. I was talking to my daughter about how, as I loved dancing growing up, and as a little kid, I would come home and practice dancing every single day, certain moves that I saw the older girls doing that I really wanted to learn. And I would practice for hours every single day. And it's like building a muscle. Like, I was horrible at it at first, but the more I practiced, I got so good at it. The same thing goes for channeling. If you had told me like 4 years ago that I would be reading tarot and channeling the way that I do, I would have laughed in your face. But literally practicing, I would practice every single day, channeled writing, working with tarot cards, talking to God, talking to the divine, the universe. And it just opens up as you slowly start to practice. Incorporating some kind of divine connection every single day is opening the flood doors for you. And I swear, if you really focus on this and make time for it, 5 minutes every single day, you will notice a change in a year, 2 years. You will also be shocked when you look back. So there's my spiel about opening your crown space. Okay, now let's talk about balance. This is beautiful. I just love the crown space so much. It's so magical. When your crown is aligned, it feels like you open yourself up to the secrets of the universe. Your life has purpose, and you have a deeper sense of meaning. You're able to see the divine in every single day. It feels like a true sense of elevated harmony. And believe me, I don't feel this way all the time, but finding this and practicing this is so magical. The state of flow feels like bringing your energy to the crown chakra is a result of caring for all of the energy centers before it. All of the things we've talked about in the past few months. There's a strong foundation that is rooting you to the earth. Your emotions have a safe and supportive home in your body. You have found your path, and you know your worth. You have opened your heart to love in yourself and others. You have connected with your authentic self, listening and expressing with balance. You have opened your third eye and learned to see in a new way. Now you are deepening your connection to the divine, realizing that you are a spiritual being having a physical experience. You are interconnected with everything around you, and you allow that understanding to be a force that guides you. A balanced crown brings greater love, empathy, kindness, purpose, peace, faith, connection, beauty, and awakening. So let's close out with some affirmations for your crown space. If any of these resonate with you, writing them down in your journal, sketching them, putting them on your mirror, wherever you see it every day, is super helpful if you really want to work on opening your crown space. I am connected to divine love. I am supported by something greater than me. I am whole, sacred, and infinite. I surrender to the magic of who I am becoming. I find true peace. I see the divine in every day. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I'm really excited for you to hear the meditation and our guest in business episode this month. We're going to close it out with a bang. And I hope you got something out of this. I have enjoyed creating this podcast so much, and don't forget to download your free chakra journal if you haven't, and begin to work through these like inner child questions. It's super helpful along this journey. And I will see you next week in our chakra meditation. Thank you so much for listening. Visit ablealchemy.com to download your free chakra journal and to learn more about Able Alchemy. This is a place where your dreams and reality align through services like tarot and astrology readings, sound bath sessions, and intuitive branding for businesses looking to align with their manifestations and purpose through soul-led studies such as astrology, business energy analysis, and chakra color theory. Follow along with Able Alchemy on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please rate, review, and subscribe if you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.